Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Tuesday. It's August 7th. This will be our chart lesson for the day, and we thought yesterday was quick. Today's going to be maybe quicker. I mean, there's just nothing really happening. You'll see a lot of green ones on here. I'm not crazy about them, but if you wanted to take a trade, they were about the best we had. I see maybe 3 trades here that I like. The rest of them I'm not crazy about, so. Anyway, it won't take long. I'm going to back out here just a little bit. Notice we had this is really a spiking channel is what I looked at it at. It still works the same way. You're moving up, you get a break, and you get 2 legs up. Or you could look at it spiked over, and you get a break, and you get a couple of legs up still. Then we had a little 2-legged correction, and then went sideways the rest of the day. So none of my signal bars are very good on some of the trades, and maybe some of you signal bar looked a little better, so you might have had an extra trade or two. I'll show you those when we get to them, but I just didn't have the signal bars for them, so I'm not going to, risk it. So anyway, let's talk about the trades real quickly, and like I said, it won't take long tonight, so I got a minute out of the way there, so that helps a little bit. But anyway, we got the move up, we had the break, and then we're kind of going sideways, but you can see this channel, you can see this clear trend line, and if you drag it up, you don't know that it's confirmed yet on the other side, but you got your 2 swings here, and then this really comes back and confirms it. And notice that you got a new low right there, a new swing low. It's lower than that one. And a first entry, a second entry, it bounces right off that trend line and gives you a 4th touch. It's not a very good signal bar, but it is a failed second entry, so it doesn't really matter. But it's right into these highs, so it's a little bit risky, but it's obvious we're making higher lows all the way up here. And you do have this inside bar that's really bullish, so what you might do is let it break higher and drop a limit order a little bit lower in here. And you can see it broke higher and it backed up a little bit. I'm not sure exactly how far back you could have got filled on a limit order, but that would have been worth a try. And then once it broke, because if it does break out, it's probably going to take on off here. And you can see once it broke higher, it took on off. And where does it turn down? Right off the high using the closes. So that gave you a great place to assume we're going to go to. Plus, if you measure this tier of the channel and you move it up, you can see there's the lower tier, and you just move it up. And that's basically a nice measured move there. So that worked out perfect. And so again, this is a little aggressive. It's a first entry. There's still a trend line working down. There's no break of it, but there is a little hidden second entry here. You can see that little doji in there. We moved down, we moved up, we moved back down, and then you get the bullish bar. Plus, it's a little breakout pullback. I would have liked it better if it held on the upper side here and it was above the EMA. That's another thing I'm not really crazy about. But it's at this key entry point, and so there's a good chance it runs up and tries to make a new high. So you may risk that one, because you've got to be really patient at this point, and you don't get another trade till the first really good trade doesn't come till 9:30. And then so notice we move up, you get a first entry. So there's a failed second entry short there, but if you'd have taken this long with the buy stop, you'd have been a 4-tick failure. Your limit order might have got filled, probably not, and you probably would have had a failure. It comes back just enough to stop you out, and then it bounces again. So you got to be careful with that one. But this is kind of going sideways. You could treat this like that little failed break lower. It's also a breakout pullback, but more than anything, it bounces off that key entry point, and it's a fairly bullish bar as well. So it's kind of it traded down real hard and then almost closed on this very high. That's a positive sign. Plus, another thing, you got the low here. You came back and tested this area once and then twice. And we did make a little lower low there, but we were making some higher highs too. So it's really more like a little failed break lower. You can see the line right there. I don't have one up there on the high side, but let's just copy and drag it up there. And you can see the resistance up there. And so this is like a little trading range and a little failed break lower. And it's your second attempt to go lower, and it bounces right off that key entry point as well. So and it's a nice bullish bar. So and then you get that 2 legs up, And we overshot it here after a break and a couple legs up and an overshoot. And that's a nice bearish bar. So you might just try to ride that back to the EMA at a minimum. Again, you could have let it break higher and drop the limit order in to see if you get a little better entry. But generally, you're better off to wait on a lower high. And you get that here, but you got a little 2-bar matching low. Then you got this support line coming right across. And you see how we bounced there. And it would have bounced and stopped you out and then went right on down. But it still wouldn't have been enough to get you out because it's testing these lows again. And it bounces again, and you do get another leg down. This is a 2-leg. Notice there's a leg down, a little correction, and then another leg down. That's a perfect measure move. Only problem is you still got this little trend line. You don't have a break yet. You don't have a bullish bar here. You're not that far away from the EMA. Then it pushes up and pulls back and gives you a higher low, but not a very good signal bar. Then you got a doji, and then you line up again. Odds are this is probably the center of our pattern, and we may push back up at least to test the highs, but it's just really risky. And I mean, I wasn't even really comfortable marking that one green, but we weren't getting a lot of trades. So if you wanted to take a trade, you had to be a little bit aggressive today. Then of course we run up and we test the high, and you get a break. It tries to make a new high, but it can't. And notice there's a new swing low there, and you get a first entry, and then you make a higher low. So that's basically a second entry short, and that's a nice bearish bar. It's also a double test of this level. So, and this is really flat, so we're probably coming back down here, and that's exactly where it goes. You get a lower high here, but it's right into these lows, so it's not worth risking. And look where it bounces. And you get a second entry long here after a bounce right off this level again. And notice you tested it once, you tested it twice, so it's really the double test of that level again. And that's a nice bullish bar. It's a second entry, and we just came off the low, so we're probably headed to the high. So I like that one. And where does it go? Right back to the highs. And you really have a little double test there, but that bar is just a perfect doji, so it's just really not bearish enough. And then you got a lower high here, and that would be a second entry short, and it's a lower high off the high, but it gaps over, and you probably can't get a limit order and then get filled anyway until it comes back. And I don't think you want to ride that back right there, right in the middle. You got to be kind of careful across the middle. And now it's obvious this is definitely the middle of a trading range. And so if you did go short there, if you were able to get in that one, yours was a little different. You probably didn't get out. You probably got stopped out. But if yours was a little different, you might have had enough room to get out here. I think it would have been a 4-tick failure, though. And then that got you into the 2 o'clock hour. There's actually a failed second entry long here. But now it's obvious you're just kind of hung in the middle. So I'm not going to go short right into that little double bottom. And it's after 2 o'clock. But sometimes if there's a really good setup right at the next bar or so after 2 o'clock, there's no problem with taking it. But you can see that's right into that double bottom there, and the middle of the pattern. So even though there's a trap there, I don't trust that one. Now it did break higher and turn down, and so you might have considered going short right there, having a sell stop there. And if you did that, it would have worked. You would have gotten out by the skin of your teeth. But again, I don't think it's worth it. I think it's too risky. And you can see how flat that EMA is right into the 2 o'clock hour. That's just too risky. And it did end up going down, but notice what happened. It would have come back and stopped you out if you had your stop above either one of them before it went down. And that's why it's just tricky in the middle there. So you just have to stay away from that one. And this one was a lower high with a double test across here and a nice bearish bar. And again, it went higher and then turned and went lower. But again, you would have been going short right into those lows, and I just think it's too risky. But you can see that one would have worked. But again, it's after 2 o'clock. So yeah, that's really about. I mean, I see 3 colored trades that I like. The rest of these green ones are all, aggressive and not the best trades, but something you might consider. So, and you had to be, you couldn't be too picky today because there just wasn't anything. And me and another trader joked around by email about how long the video was going to take tonight, and I'm going to be pushing to get 10 minutes here, but just not a lot of trades. But I did reply back to him that, you know, just a few days ago we were testing 2,800 and we're at 2,960 something today, so we're more than halfway to 2,900. So it's not like we're not getting any movement. It just all seems to come in one whack, and then we kind of go sideways. And you can see, you know, we had a nice little move up yesterday, and the previous day we had a little bit of a move. This is pretty flat. I think it was the prior day where we had the big rally. Yeah, you can see, you know, we got it all in one day almost. We got 30 points of it in one day, and then we snuck a little bit here, and then we snuck a little bit more here, and we snuck a little more today. So it's, you know, it's just been slow going, but we're steadily going higher. So it seems like, you know, when you get in situations like this, it usually seems like most of your movements early on. You can see it was early on here, early on today, yesterday. Actually, this day it was, well, some of your move came early on, and then your second part of it came in the afternoon. So anyway, it's just kind of slow. Generally, the fall things will pick up. It's still a little bit early yet. Hopefully, it will pick up some more, and we'll start to get a little more volatility and a little more volume as people wind up their summers and kids start to go back to school, and everybody goes, you know, everybody's pretty much back to work full time, trading and so forth. So, but that's it for today. I'm going to wrap it up. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.